Greetings, gentlemen. Welcome to F.U.E.L again this Thursday. We have a very special treat today. Before we get to that, I wanted to remind you for next week, we're going to have Dwight Bell from Wings of Grace. He's been really anticipating that. That's going to be next week on the 19th. But this week here on May 12th, we have Lieutenant Commander Amir Pishdad. I'm going to let him tell more about himself, but he is a former Navy SEAL and a diver. And I can't imagine just all the work just to get into training for that, let alone his experiences. So with no further ado, Lieutenant Commander Amir Pishdad.
Thank you, guys. Booyah! Normally I can see on my screen what's about to come up, so I apologize in advance. All right, that's what we say in the SEAL teams. It can mean anything. But we usually say, like, "Hoo-yah, instructor," so-and-so, like when you're in the push-up position to do the next thing to get permission to get up. But you can make it whatever you want to, really, because it's a great term. And we say it constantly, even in the teams. When you're really excited, instead of saying, "Yeah," we go, "Hoo-yah." Anyway, let me fast forward to this real quickly. I'm a member of the Military Officers Association of America with the Cape Canaveral chapter, the largest chapter in the country. We do a lot of things here. We're a non-profit, non-partisan organization that works to support military families on every stage of life. I'm just going to go through this kind of quickly. This is Cape Canaveral chapter. 1958 we started. Again, as I said, we're really huge. We have an auxiliary with women's as well. And we do a lot of giving back to our community. We support all the junior JRTC programs here in Brevard County. And if I'm not mistaken, including 2 Sea Scouts and a Coast Guard unit, it's about 19 of them. And we give them a lot of money. All right. We're an affiliate of the National Association. We do a lot of things. Our goals. We have a foundation that gives money back. We have a big annual golf tournament. We had one, I think it was in January, February, might have been March. We have one every year. It's our biggest fundraiser, which we use those funds to give back. Plus, we get a lot of private donations from different organizations. It's primarily for the enlisted ranks, veterans, and families, Sea Cadets, Civil Air Patrol, Young Marines, and other organizations since 1987. The goal, we have the organization for giving back, it's called Good Deeds. And just real fast, to show you how we've been dividing up our funds for the program. But today, contribution, total contribution of people impacted during 2021 was over $20,000. Excuse me, over $51,000, $51,241. And that's a lot of money to give back from an organization. I'm talking about a little bit about leadership and teamwork. And I am Lieutenant Commander Amir Pishdad, United States Navy SEAL, retired. I started in the Navy when I was 17. Hoo-yah is what we say. Leadership. The purpose of leadership is to do what? Find new leaders. Okay, this is my interpretation of leadership. I started in the Navy when I was 17. I did 4 years, graduated, become a Navy SEAL in the beginning. Went through some hardships, had knee surgery, broken ribs, but I made it in Class 80, the only class that once we started Hell Week, nobody quit. But we did lose 40 guys the first 2 weeks. And we went from 59 down to 19. One person was a Peruvian officer. This is my interpretation of leadership. It's to find new leaders. Yeah, it's a lead, but you gotta have people helping you. You can apply this to any walk in life, no matter what you're doing. Whether you're in a church group, whether you're own your own business, it doesn't matter what you do. That the purpose is because you can't do it all yourself. Leadership tools, we use these tools, 3 tools called delegation, accountability, and responsibility. Let's talk about each real briefly. Okay, failures in leadership. Is it failures to delegate, the lack of accountability, and irresponsibility? Failures to delegate. All right, let me talk about a glass of water a minute. So if I hold this glass of water up right now, about how much do you think it weighs? Anybody?
14 ounces.
14 ounces. Anybody else?
About a pound.
Okay. How heavy is the glass of water? The absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. Okay? It depends on how long I hold it. Okay? Can you relate this to leadership? Okay? You keep not delegating, it gets more and more of a burden. Same thing with this glass of water. I hold it for a minute, nothing happens. I hold it on for an hour or hours, yeah, my arm will begin to ache. But if I hold it on for all day, I will feel numb and paralyzed. It's the same thing in leadership. It's exactly the same. And no matter how much you take from it, you still got to hold something out there, and it's going to be hard. All right? All right. Like I said, the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes. The stress and the worries of life are like the glass of water. If you think about it for a little while, there's no problem. However, if you begin to think about it longer, it begins to hurt. Don't think about it all day long. You will feel paralyzed and incapable of doing anything. So therefore, you need to delegate. All right? Everybody agree to that? Got to delegate. Hoo-yah. That's right. Failures, the lack of accountability and responsibility. Proper mentoring and frequent training with constructive feedback and positive reinforcement to those you are training, those you are mentoring. A person can't know what they're not accomplishing properly if you keep it all hidden inside of you. You got to share the wealth. You got to share the knowledge. Teamwork. And that's where teamwork comes into play. What is teamwork? Well, the SEALs are called, Navy SEALs are called teams. The Navy SEAL team, the underwater demolition team that I was in I served in 2 teams. The team stands for Together Everyone Achieves More. SEAL is an acronym. It stands for Sea, Air, and Land, the 3 places we operate on, below, and above. And this is our trident. This is our signet. This is our emblem of our insignia warfare that we wear. So why does teamwork work? Well, like I said, together everyone achieves more. Embrace the suck. Hey, no one ever says it's going to be easy. No one ever said it's going to be quick, painless, or without challenges when you're being a leader. So, embrace the suck. Be relentless, possess and maintain a constant, relentless determination and relentless positivity. No matter how down you get, you got to always think positive. You got to always project that positive attitude to those around you. We do it in church. No matter how down somebody may be, we're always giving them that positive feedback, that arm around the shoulder, telling them it's going to be okay, the support. We're standing there with them. You can't abandon those people. And you got to be relentless. Everyone wants to be successful. True? Yeah. Until you realize what it actually takes to be successful. You know, yeah, I want to do this job to be a ballerina dancer. Really? Do you really understand what it really takes, the hours of dedication? And I'm going to tell you, this is true. You're going to have some pain involved. You're going to have to embrace the suck. To be a Navy SEAL, 80% of the people that try out for it don't make it. Majority of the people, they quit. They give up on themselves. They lose their dream. There's a small percentage of people that get injured. And it's a small percentage of people who are injured that come back and make it. Thank goodness I'm one of those guys. Hoo-yah! Yeah. You can always be yourself, and yes, you could be a Navy SEAL. And then always be a Navy SEAL. I had to throw that in there. I just love the positive reinforcement I give myself. SEAL, as I told you earlier, stands for Sea, Air, and Land. So why did I become the SEAL? Because I watched this movie. Okay? All right, and I saw what those guys did. I watched this TV show. We're all in this generation, and if you're not, go on YouTube and look at Sea Hunt, or Louis Bridges. That's right. But he played Mr. Mike Nelson, right? He always had his collar standing up all the time. You know, I mean, what a fashion statement he made. But Louis Bridges inspired millions of people to undertake underwater exploration, whether it be snorkeling or scuba diving. But scuba diving is a big thing. And I'm sitting there at a young kid at 14 and 15 years old, coming back from middle school, and I'm looking at that television screen, locked in on it, eating a whole loaf of bread, just chumming in, can't get enough of it. The enthusiasm was going through my body, but I didn't really realize how much so. But Louis Bridges was portraying to be an ex-Navy frogman in those TV shows. It's referred to all the time in many of the episodes about being a frogman. Hey, that, by the way, that was actually a copy of a magazine, the front of the magazine. So I told myself, I'm going to do this. I tell people, if you want to do something in life, take a snapshot of something that you would be doing in that profession or what you want to accomplish, and see yourself doing it, and that's your goal. Don't try to focus on everything, because how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So just pick a snapshot of what you want and focus on that, and don't try to cloud your mind with the overall everything that's got to go on to do the goal. If you thought about that from day one to become a SEAL, you never make it, because every single day there's multiple challenges that you got to pass each and every one. You just concentrate on the evolution at hand. Whatever the task at hand is, put your energy in that, accomplish it, and then move on. And I saw myself rolling off these speeding boats. I saw myself getting picked back up on that speeding boat. And I'm going like, yeah, I got to do that. I can see myself doing it. And I did it. I did that, man, over and over and over again. I saw myself scuba diving because I want to be a frogman. Underwater Demolition Team, UDT is abbreviation for it. It started back in the 1940, in the end of 1943, when after they had a disastrous landing at Tarawa, lost about 1,500 Marines because they used aerial reconnaissance in which to determine where the landing craft were going to take Marines into the shore. Little did they know there was coral reefs there, and the boats, when they hit the coral reefs, considerable distance from the shore, down went the ramp, out went the Marines, down went the Marines, and those who unfortunately didn't drown were shot by the Japanese. It was a tragic learning lesson. But every single amphibious landing this country has ever done or contemplated has always had the Navy Underwater Demolition Team, the Navy Frogmen, Navy SEALs to go in and check out it. So I learned to scuba dive. Rule number 1, get familiar with the profession. Engross yourself into it. Number 2, practice and learn to perfect those skills necessary to perform the job correctly with the positive feedback, but always practice, practice, practice. Somebody asked me, why do you keep going to the gun range to shoot guns? You're a Navy SEAL. I said, because you never get enough of practice. You got to practice. If you will shoot the way you practice a gun. If you don't practice, you won't shoot well. Just like everything else in life. If you don't practice good leadership, you won't be a good leader. I guarantee it. You'll falter. You have to hone those skills to become that person that's required for you to be successful. So after about 2 years of learning and practicing diving, I joined the Navy to become part of the Naval Special Warfare to be a UDT SEAL. Underwater Demolition Team training is called BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL, and there's 3 phases of training. Rule number rule number 3 is never quit. Hell Week, guaranteed. Cold, wet, tired, and miserable. You'll be cold. You'll be wet. You'll be tired. You'll be miserable. For how long?
A week.
At least a week. Generally, it's 5.5 days. We went 6.5 days. Why? Well, I later found out it's because they were really wanting to see if anybody was not going to quit. We did have one guy that wanted to quit, but we stopped him. We just had to psychologically put into his mind, they just want to see if we're going to quit. And they pushed us right to the edge of the envelope, right to the edge. This is part of the mud exercises down in the mud flats of San Diego. You get totally covered in mud. Hey, but you're with your buddies. You're having a great time. Think about the positive aspect of it, okay? You can do a lot of heavy boat carrying. You're a big surf. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's some big surf in Southern California. Did I mention that you get cold? The water temperature is 57 degrees almost all the time. Sunny California. Three goals of success. Focus on the goal, have self-confidence, and attention to detail. I call this the Pishdad rule because this is how I perceived how to accomplish things in life. And I've applied this to everything I've ever done. So, focus on the goal. It's got to be a tangible goal. It's got to be a goal that you see yourself doing. Otherwise, it's not tangible. Okay? You got to have self-confidence. You got to have an unwavering belief in yourself that you will do it. And the third thing is that you have attention to detail. And you get this, these are the steps that are required to achieve that goal. And then we have people called mentors, and we have instructors, and we have schooling. We have all kinds of education so that you learn those steps. No one's expected to become an electrician by simply walking up and getting zapped by an electrical plug. You got to learn all the aspects of electricity. I became an electrician, mate, in the Navy because I had to have a technical knowledge in order to advance in rank. Because at the time when I joined in 1973, UDT SEAL was not a rating. It was not a shipboard type of job in which you got paid to advance on. Today it is. It's and it's not called underwater demolition any longer. In May 1st, 39 years ago, we took away the name Underwater Demolition Team and redesignated the 3 underwater demolition teams into SEAL teams. Let me give an example about swimming and running. When you're swimming underwater, there's a swimming test, and you got to swim under the pool with one breath. You dive in, you flip, you do a somersault, without pushing off, you swim across the Olympic-sized pool. It's about 8 lanes. You can push off with your weight, come back, touch the wall. Pass. Not so easy, is it? Not really. Okay. But you have to focus on self-confidence. It's a 50-yard underwater in one breath, and you only get 2 chances. Everything in this program, a lot of things in life only give you maybe 1 chance to do it right. In this program, they give you 2 chances to do it. And failure, okay, failure is an opportunity to learn from what you didn't accomplish the first time. It's a learning. Failure is a learning. I can't remember the acronym right now, but it's an opportunity to learn from your first not goal, successful achieving that goal. So it's okay to fail, but if you quit, it's over. So how many people know about WD-40? WD-40, how many times did it take them to get it right? 40 times. It's a true story. Okay. Heinz 57, no, not really. I thought so too, but I did a little more research, and it's actually basically 57 ingredients that goes into the formula. I always thought that was funny. All right, so you swim underwater, you dive in, 1 breath. Guess what? I failed my first attempt. Surprised? No. Listen, I've never done this before. You know, I was an okay swimmer. I was scuba diving, but I wasn't Mark Spitz. I wasn't these high-performance Olympic athletes. I was okay, but I can meet the time periods that was required. So the instructor, and the second time, I nearly drowned on the second attempt. So, second attempt, I dive in because I had to get in the line, watch everybody else do it again. My class, they really liked me because I was the cadence guy. I got in the pool, I dove in, did a somersault, swam across. I didn't let any air out this time. And on the way back, a little bit of air at a time because the CO2 building up and the pressure telling you, the CO2 triggers the brain to breathe. And as I'm getting closer to the wall, a bunch of my classmates, they jumped in the water and they're waving me on. They're waving me on. And I get maybe this close. And all of a sudden I realize I've got all these hands pulling on me, pulling me out of the pool, and I'm looking up at the instructor. And I said, I knew I could make he says, you passed, Pishdad. He says, and I said, I knew I could make that wall. He said, no, you're about that close to the wall. But then he said these words. It's not about how far you can swim underwater. It's not about how far you can run. In this training, it's not about how fast you can run. It's about what you're willing to do without quitting. You pass. Let's go next exercise.
So you missed the ball by that much?
I guess, I don't know. I think I passed out. But I wasn't going to quit. And that's what's important in life. You're never going to be successful if you quit. And that's the thing about teamwork. Teamwork requires no quitters. Everybody has to pull their weight. And we do some stuff, I'll show you a picture in a minute. And what was my goal? My goal was to be that man. There's my graduation picture. Okay. Hoo-yah! Yeah. Failure is temporary. I told you about WD. Quitting is permanent. Face it. Log PT. Every single day you will be cold, wet, tired, and miserable. And you'll have endless running. You'll do a beach run. Let's talk about attention to detail. And it's an instructor-led evolution. And the goal is to avoid the goon squad. There's only one rule. And that rule is, let's read in red together. Come on.
Stay with the instructor.
Stay with the instructor. What's the rule? Stay with the instructor. So when you're running down the beach, okay, wait, I already told you the rule, okay. So when you're running down the beach, there's two things that you don't know about the run. I'll get that in a second. When you're running down the beach, the instructor, he's leading you, so he'll suddenly speed up, he'll slow down, and he'll do circles. Now we do the morning runs early in the morning. Whatever uniform you're in at the beginning of that day, you will be in the rest of the day. Before we do the run, we've already done morning PT. Some guys are totally wet because they didn't do the exercise correctly, so they have a big bathtub right there, and you jump in the bathtub and get totally wet. It used to send you to the ocean with a swim buddy, but now two people didn't get to do some of the exercises, and guys would not go very fast to get to the ocean, which was only 200 yards behind the training area. And they would but you come back totally wet, salt water, grimy. So if your partner, your teammate didn't do it right now, you can maybe start putting the pressure on him. Daggone it, I told you to do the exercises right now, you made me get wet. And now I'm gonna be in this sandy uniform the rest of the day. So here we're running down the beach. So when the instructor speeds up, you will speed up. When he slows down, you're going to slow down, good unison. And when he does circles, you're going to do circles with him. And you ever ask yourself, I ask myself that question, I'm going to training, why does he do circles? And I realized that as he's running down the beach, the class, and got some big, at one point they had over 200 people in one single class. We started with 59 guys, but as you run, all of a sudden it starts stringing out, and guys start dragging behind. You ever watch the Olympics and the mile run, for example? And in the mile run, they have all these different competitions to get down to the last 8 guys to run the competition. Okay? And these guys that are running are the fastest guys in the world. I mean, literally microseconds between them, between their ability and the speed. And they can run like a lightning. But you ever notice that on the last heat, that no matter what, how good these guys are, they still string out? You notice that? And then, have you ever just thought about it for a second? Why do they string out? These are the fastest guys in the world, but yet they string out. But ask yourself this question. What's that last guy thinking? Because How many people can get medals? 3. Gold, bronze, and silver, right? And there's 8 guys running. And there's one guy always in the back. What do you think he's thinking? Really? Now, I haven't talked to an Olympian about this, but this is the Pishdad rule. You know what he's thinking? I'm an Olympian. I made it. His goal was to become an Olympian. Everybody there was the goal to become, they strive for years to get to become an Olympian. And I know a lot of Olympians, but they got there. They are now representing their town, their country in the Olympics. And they're doing their best to give effort. And no matter how hard they try, there's only going to be 3 guys that get rewarded with medals. So you know what I say to me? I say, he's thinking, I'm an Olympian. I made it. I made it here. He knew that he has a chance, just like all the other guys, including guy number 1. Guy number 1 could fall just before the finish line, and now 2, 3, and 4 positions get medals. Okay? It's getting there. It's being there. So at graduation time, the guy that always came in first across that line, and the guy that always cut across the line just in the nick of time to qualify for the run, what do they call those guys at the end of training? SEALs. Just like the guy first place and last place in medical school, they still call him doctor. Puts in perspective, doesn't it? Okay, you know, there's a limit where they got to have qualification, and they got a little fudge factor. But there's always going to be somebody out front, and there's always going to be somebody that's carrying up the rear. In the SEAL teams, the rear guy actually one of the most important guys in the platoon, because it's called rear security. He's there to protect everybody else in the platoon, make sure nothing's going to happen. So sometimes it's not a bad thing to be the last guy, but you want to be the guy that's the right last guy, okay? But you don't quit, all right? And so you get gold. Every man that comes to SEAL training, okay, in our class we had 59. You know how many of those guys could be Navy SEALs?
19. How many can be?
59.
All 59. So he's listening, attention to detail. Attention to detail. All 59 could have done it. Day 1, they told us, you qualified for the requirement to get here. If you put forth the effort every day, you will accelerate your performance, your knowledge. You just got to put forth 100 plus 10% every day, and you'll make it. But if you give up, if you don't put out, you're not going to make it. It's a simple fact. But every person there can get a Navy SEAL trident. Unlike the Olympics, only 3 can get the medal. Kind of harsh reality in life, isn't it? So, when the instructor does the circles, okay, when he does those circles, I'm saying, okay, he's looking back and he sees that long line, and he's just going to pick out somebody that he's seen some confidence in, but he doesn't know why they're a little behind it. So one day he looks at me and he's thinking to himself, yeah, I know, Pishdad's usually right here with the group. I don't know, tell you what, I'm going to wait for him to get up to the group. And I may only be 15 paces back there from the rest of the group when he started doing that circle. I may be 50 yards. I'm not going to be very far. And there may be people between me where he picks me and him. But you know what he's going to do as soon as I catch up with that group? Come on.
Run fast.
He's going to take off again. And what do I got to do? I got to embrace the suck. I got to suck it up, and I got to stay with the group. No excuses, right? He waited for me to catch up, and I'm there. Some other guys got lucky between me and him, and everybody behind me, how many times you think you got to do that if you're running an instructor, and all of a sudden you realize he takes off, and you didn't. He was waiting for somebody, but then all of a sudden by the time you get almost up there, he takes off again. Can you imagine how demoralizing that is? Because I'm telling you, it's relentless. It's in the mind. But here to make it just a little bit more intriguing. Every time, we usually run down to North Island Fence, is 2 miles, and we turn and come back. It's about a 4-mile run, okay? Usually, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But on Friday, and on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the instructor, about 50 yards before the imaginary line, but there's a big tower right there that as you got further away, it got smaller. As you get closer to it, you saw it coming. He speeds up and he stops at that imaginary line, turns around, and if he's not with him in the group, everybody else gets to go in the goon squad. Cold, wet, tired, and miserable. Sand, you sit in the ocean till you're shivering uncontrollably. You don't want to do that, okay? Sometimes the whole class has to do it anyway because they want to psychologically mess you up a little bit and make you think that somebody screwed up. But you don't want to do that. But on day 5, on the Friday, now he starts running about 100 yards before that imaginary line. What are you thinking? Quickly. What are you thinking at that very second? Come on. What? Well, anybody. What are you thinking when he's sprinting that and he's 100 yards? You see that line. You can see that line. What are you thinking? What? What was the rule? What was the rule? Stay with the instructor. And I had some young kids that I was trying to give them some mentoring, and the next day they were going to start day number 1, and I told them the story a little shorter or longer. I got them visualizing running, and the instructor stopping all those first couple days, and now he's sprinting 100 yards, and the kid said, "Yeah, we're almost at the finish line." I'm going like, and all the other guys were bobbleheads. Yep. And I'm going, there's 5 guys right there. They're not going to make it past day number 1. And I said, gentlemen, as soon as you get to where that instructor does stop, just turn left. And there's 100 yards, there's the bell, go ring it. Because you just gave up on yourself. Okay? Because there's 2 things about that run that you don't know, and who cares? Number 1, the pace of the run. And number 2, where the distance of the run, where are you going to stop? It doesn't matter because there's only one rule and stay with the instructor. Life is like that, okay? We see something ahead, we accomplish it, but there's a little bit more, we got to do it. But we give up because we said, this is far enough. But it's not. When it comes to leadership and teamwork, goals never end. Teamwork never ends. Don't stop short way and give up. Now, it's 1:04. You want me to stop? You want me to go just a little bit more longer? What do you guys want me to do? Go. Okay. All right. Got you intrigued. So attention to detail. Every man can make it. If you don't attention to detail, those that didn't keep up will now be in the goon squad. Never quit believing in yourself. Never hope in desperate times that someone is coming for you. Hope is never an option. It's never a good plan. You're out at sea floating. The ship just sank. And you're going to hope that someone's going to remember you or come looking for you. Hey, buddy, whatever you have to do, start paddling your way toward a direction. Look at that sun. Start using some common sense and plan your escape. Hope has a plan for you, buddy. It's called the bell. And they hope that you're going to go over there and be a quitter. Okay? Because they don't want people who don't look after themselves. They don't want people who are going to quit. So, and they say, you're going to the fleet. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a fleet sailor. Don't get me wrong. But my goal in the Navy when I joined was to be that man. And I said, I'm going to do it. So sometimes the training is so intense, they'll bring the bell to you. So you can see it right there. And all you got to do to not be miserable anymore, just to get up and ring it 3 times. That's it. Hot, warm coffee, nice bed. But not here. It's going to be on a ship someplace, okay? Because your bags will be packed in about 30 minutes, you're gone, okay? They don't need any, I hate to say this, but they don't need any negativity. It's all positive there. All right, goon squad, chilly water, 57 degrees, cold water. It's really cold. Then you run around and become a sugar cookie in the sand till you're totally covered. It's endless push-ups. You'll get in there and they're going to say, gentlemen, no one's getting up until somebody quits. Now just think about that just for a second. Use the attention to detail. Okay, got it? Attention to detail. No one's getting up until somebody quits. Guess what? You'll be there, but there isn't anybody that's in that formation or anybody that's ever attended training whose name was somebody. No one's named somebody. So who was he talking to? Psychologically, this is the Pishdad next rule, is that I think he was thinking of that who's not going to listen to detail. He wasn't talking about until somebody here quits. He didn't say that until somebody quits. Really attention to detail. In our program, if you don't pay attention to detail, people get hurt or people get killed. So don't be a somebody, be someone special. That's why it's called naval special warfare. And other aspects of SEAL training, I'll go through real fast. We do drown proofing, gives you great confidence of being underwater. Endless exercises, but there's a lot of other things. We can save that for another day. This was January 24, 1975. I graduated, became a SEAL. I was in UDT 21 and SEAL Team 2 as enlisted. Then I went to college for 2.5 years, got my degree in Business Administration and Management, Virginia Commonwealth University. Richard Marcinko, who started SEAL Team 6, brought me back in the Navy. I went to Underwater Demolition Team 11 and SEAL Team 5, where I retired. We do SEAL patrols, we do underwater approach, we do diving with underwater apparatus that leaves no bubbles. We have fast attack canines. We do free fall. I've done it over 25,000 feet. We do sneak attacks with shipboarding. I'm a pilot navigator of the mini submarine program. A lot of program. We'll go anywhere. We'll do anything. We'll do it anytime. And we will reach out and we will touch you. The Navy SEAL Trident, 3 spears, stands for honor, courage, and commitment. The eagle is the only emblem of the United States Armed Forces in which the eagle's head is looking down. It's worn over our heart because our country knows that we don't serve our country for a living, that we live to serve our country. The flintlock pistol is in an armed position, goes back to the days of the early saboteurs, with the early days of the OSS, today, later called the CIA, guys that went behind the lines. Neptune, the spear, our love and our respect for the oceans, and the anchor, Old Navy anchor for tradition of the Navy. That's called the Navy SEAL Trident. Again, I'm an original member of SEAL Team 5. From UDT 11, we became SEAL Team 5. I'm proud to say that. I am Lieutenant Commander Amir Pishdad, was in Class 80. The only day was yesterday, never quit. And remember, no matter what you do, it's only as hard as you make it. And you'll never be successful when you quit, so therefore never quit. Thank you. I am that man. There we go. Yeah. Booyah! Well, that was pretty fast, 4 minutes there to do the last part. Listen, thank you very much. I go around and I volunteer my time to give back to our community. I've done this F.U.E.L. I did a F.U.E.L. a couple weeks ago over in Merritt Island. I used to do it when you guys were over there at Sonny's Barbecue. It's a privilege, it's an honor to do this. I've been with the Viera church over there and had the opportunity to speak to the gentleman over there and other people that attended, young kids. Our goal, I think our goal as leaders in the church is to reach back and whatever profession you have is try and encourage the youth, because they're the ones that are going to be handling the baton and taking over. We have an obligation to give back. Okay, no matter what you do, in some way or form, you know. And if I'm not earning my trident every day, I'm not doing my job correctly. And it's important that we, as leaders in the church, as deacons of what God has asked us to do. And there's religion in the armed forces. Okay, absolutely. It's called God and Country. God and then Country. And we have a publication in my church called God and Country, and it's about, you know, serving God, but serving your country. And so, again, it's with the deepest respect for the opportunity to come here and speak to you guys and encourage you to go out there and find more leaders.